Hello everyone, my name is Akinola Ayedele and I would like to welcome you to the 6th session of the Future Energy Leaders Club. I hope the first 5 sessions has been worthwhile for you. I think we've talked about basic energy concept, energy efficiency and energy conversion, and energy supply in total. We've talked about power generation, distribution, transmission and how it is consumed, and other facts and figures relating to energy and power supply. We think in this session it is much more important to hear back from you to get your perspective of the problem of Nigeria's power supply. So today it's going to be a lot about the discussion. It's going to be less from me. The rest of the time we will want you to spend with your coordinators to brainstorm about the problem and possible solutions. I will lead the discussion in terms of giving you my own perspective of what the problem is and my own idea of what the solution should be. So this is a very funny picture that depicts the problem of Nigeria power supply. The need or the crave for diesel generators or petrol generators has been the dreams of many Nigerians, and so many of us, including me. Though they make much noise, they pollute the environment, but we do not have any choice because the insufficient power supply has led us to getting this. As a matter of fact, it's been time I better pass my neighbor. These are some of my own ideas of the problems relating to Nigeria's power supply. The first and the major one is insufficient power generation. We do not generate enough power to supply the demand. For example, we generate about 5,000 megawatts of power to supply to consumers that needs about 80,000 megawatts. So that is not sufficient to meet the demand, and that's one of the major reasons. Number 2, we do not have enough transmission capabilities, in the sense that even after generation, we cannot sufficiently transmit all of the power that we generate, because the transmission lines are either obsolete or they're not enough to convey or to transmit the power from the generators to consumers. Another problem is that we do not have a very good transmission network. So some part of the countries might have to be cut out because the transmission lines are not enough to reach their areas. And also sometimes because there are lack of redundancy on the transmission network, if there's a problem on a particular line, that might affect the whole area which the transmission line supplies. So for example, if you're transmitting power from Lagos to, for example, Ibadan, and there's only one transmission line, if there is a problem on that transmission line and there's no other line that supplies to Ibadan, there won't be any power in Ibadan. That's what it means. And so that is some of the problems that we have. Any problem on one transmission line might affect a whole lot of the system. So we don't have a very good interconnection of transmission lines or redundancies on the transmission lines. Another thing is that there's huge high technical losses. As I told you, the efficiency of transmission is not always 100%. It's because there are always losses relating to heating effect on the line or the wires. And so there are losses in terms of transmitting power on the line itself. And so we lose about 9% of the power even when they get to the transmission line, before they get to the substations. So other ones are obsolete transmission facilities like substation equipment, equipment failures, voltage variations when the power begin to fluctuate, which inevitably affect our equipment. So these are some of the problems that we are experiencing, or that I have experienced in relation to the problem of power supply in Nigeria. So what are my own suggestions? These are my own personal suggestions. I'm not saying everyone will buy into this idea, but I feel that these are some of the solutions that we can actually explore. The first and the major one is that we need to tap into renewable energy. And when I say renewable energy, I'm talking about energy that can be replenishable, energy that will always be there. For example, we need to tap into sun. We need to tap into the power of sun by using photovoltaics or solar equipment to get energy from the sun. We can tap into the power of wind using wind turbines that rotate. From the rotation of the wind turbines, we generate electricity. So these are sources of energy that are perpetual. They will always be there. Sun, wind, they will never go away. So we can tap into this, and we have a lot of it in Nigeria, especially the sun is always shining. Why can't we use or harness the power in sun? The second is to look into our potential of coal and hydropower. We have a lot of river Niger and river Benue. They can be a source of good hydro power stations. Also, we have a lot of huge coal deposits in Enugu that we can explore and build coal-fired power plant to harness or make use of the potential of coal in Enugu to build huge power stations that will supply electric power. Number 3, because we have problems also not only relating to generation with transmission, I think it is important for us to extend our transmission network. Our transmission network should be highly reliable and should have high redundancy, so that if a transmission line fails, there will be another transmission line to supply consumers. So there's also, for the issue of power stability, it is important to build interconnections with neighboring countries for power exchanges. So we already do that. We supply power to places like Benin Republic, Togo, Niger. We need to build a more comprehensive network. The more countries share the power network, the more stable the power system would be. So having countries across the ECOWAS, Cameroon, Niger, in West Africa can build a power system that is more reliable than the one we build locally in Nigeria. Also, since we have a lot of gas, this is pertaining to generation, instead of flaring the gases that we produce in the Niger Delta, we can harness some of more, because this is currently being done, we can harness more of these gases by building gas power stations. And also, it is important for the government to subsidize renewable energy technologies. One of the problems that renewable energy technology face today is not because it is not available, it is because they have high capital cost. And so because of the high capital cost of these technologies, it discourages people from adopting them. So developing countries, you do not see most of this technology because of the high initial cost. But if the government can be able to find a way, or private organizations can come in or step in to say, we can subsidize the rate at which you buy these technologies, a lot of people will be able to afford it and will prefer it than going for generators. So these are my own suggestions. Definitely you will have other suggestions, new ideas, new technology that can be developed, and that will be definitely welcome. And so I would love to hear back from you, especially get the feedback from your discussions. I would like you, if you could make a video about your discussions, we would love to hear that so we can share some of your discussions with other people. If you have any idea, please do not hesitate to send it on Facebook or send me an email. I'd like to hear from you. Thank you.